Welcome back to the I Said What I Said podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time listening, then you are very welcome. Today, our topic is going to be passion. Stacey, what are your first thoughts about the topic passion?
Hi everyone. Okay, so if someone was to say the word passion to me, I think initially the first thing that would come to my mind is what I love doing, and that's writing and like words and literature. That's kind of something I've always deemed my passion. So automatically that's what comes to mind for me. And then after that, really shallow, I think of kissing. I put that down to being like so into English literature. It's all about the romance. So
yeah, that's true.
But how about yourself?
Well, I think like when we first said like what should we talk about, should we do passion, I think the first thing that you do think of is like passionate, isn't it? Like tearing your clothes off and that kind of passion. Yeah. But then as soon as you actually sit down and think about it, it's like, well, that's not really my passion, actually. That's a passion that I suppose you enjoy, but a type of passion. But actually, when you really think about it, you think, well, that's not my passion. You know, that's not like something that I go out of my way to.
You sure about that?
Am I making any sense? Do you know what I mean, though?
No, totally.
I mean? But then when I think about what I'm actually passionate about, and I always come back to the same thing, no matter what job I've done or where I go, I always come back to wanting to do the same thing, and that is helping other people, supporting other people. And like over the last year, I've even done more research and sort of little courses on support. So I feel like now, actually, the older I've got, the more I want to take it to the next level. So that is where I kind of feel like my passion is at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think? I mean, we've had a few responses from what we've put out there, but what did you think that men would respond to you when you asked the question, what is your passion?
Do you know what? I'm not even going to lie. I thought most of the guys were just going to talk about sex, and there were a couple of comments and replies that were very much about sexual acts, shall we say, to keep it clean. But actually, I was pleasantly surprised in that quite a few of the guys did come back with things of how they're passionate about their friends and seeing their friends succeed. They're passionate about their family. They're passionate about seeing change. They're passionate about having their voices heard. And I really loved those replies because I wasn't expecting them, which probably makes me sound really bad. But yeah, sometimes
I agree.
You don't always see that depth to men, especially about a topic that is quite. I think passion, like as a bit of a literature geek, I think passion and passionate are quite feminine words. So I think sometimes if you put that word to a guy, it's a word that they could shy away from because it doesn't sound overly masculine.
Not mad.
Yeah. So it was really nice actually to see the responses of them tuning in to what it could mean for them. So yeah, I am glad that we put it out there, and I'm really glad that guys did respond to it as well, actually.
Yeah, me too. And I think as well, did you find that guys responded to the question based on how they feel about you?
Yeah.
So whether they thought, well, if I say this, she's going to think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Listen, I'm not even going to lie, Carly. There were a couple of propositions in there, love. They were like, let me show you what my passion's all about. I was like, calm down, fella. It was not an invitation.
Exactly. That wasn't really what I meant.
No, but here's my number.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm joking.
We'll talk about
We're
that.
joking.
Yeah, no, I think that certain people went straight in with the I am passionate about family and things like that, and other people were like, oh well, you know, first thing that comes to mind for me is sex, and I was like, but why is that? And then they were like, actually, and I was like, think about it now. And even the people that initially said sex, they changed their answer. I think when they understood what we were getting at a little bit, they changed their answer and was like, oh, do you know what, actually it's fun, sex, isn't it? But like, that's not something that, you know, you run your life by. I mean, I suppose some people do.
I think, and I think as well, we very much live in a society and a world where we're open to be more sexually confident, and everything is sexualized in some kind of way. So, and I think the word passion, it's very much used by certain companies to endorse their products and stuff. You know, you see that word kind of linked to sexual behaviors and sexual fantasies and fun, and I think so that's why the word has kind of been watered down, because actually it's really made me like want to read more about where the word passion and passionate comes from. And I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that when you look at the initial meaning, if you were to just Google the word passion, you'd have words come up like something that you really desire, or you're
like an emotion.
Exactly,
isn't it? That was something that was quite repeated, I found. When you look at passion as like a dictionary definition, it was like one of the ones that I saw, it said strong and barely controllable emotion. And I think that's what a lot of it is. It kind of puts it as an emotion.
Definitely.
And that's where it gets kind of crossover, isn't it? Where it's like it loses its meaning a little bit because people are taking that emotion to be something else. I think.
Totally. I mean, I found the original definition, and the original definition for the word passion is actually a willingness to suffer for what you love. And like I read that and I was like, oh my gosh, like that is just like, that's got Shakespeare all over it. Do you know what I mean? Like, but a willingness to suffer for what you love. And then that got me thinking, do you know what then? So actually, passion defined is an emotion that's to be acted upon, and without action, your passion has no worthwhile results. So I think that passion is something that it's actually something we really believe in, and it's something that we want to put our determination and our hard work and commitment into, whether that's a relationship or a hobby or a career field or just even a social justice project. Do you know what I mean? I think that really enabled me to grasp, no, passion is so much more than passionate kissing, or do you know what I mean? And I think the thing that also said to me was, if we were to apply that to our intimate relationships, if we were to think of passion as opposed to thinking about it in a sexual way, when it comes to our intimate relationships, if we were to look at it, well, am I willing to fight for something that could go through hard times? Like, we all know relationships have ups and downs, and do we bail on someone easily who we love, or actually do we push through and work for that relationship? And 8 times out of 10 people push through and they work through stuff, and that's because they're passionate about it. So it's got a much deeper definition to what society and the world would have us believe. Actually, it's a nice word.
Yeah, it is. And I think people need to start remembering that what it means to be passionate, really, rather than just thinking about being passionate with a partner. Because I do feel that I think that some people are maybe a little bit lost, like because one thing I saw also when I was like researching it was that I came across this website that said 37 questions to help you identify your passions. Like, why do you need 37 questions to try and find out what you're passionate about? And mean, a couple of the things that they said, I mean, it does make sense a little bit. I'm not going to read 37 things out, because I didn't even read the 37 things, because I just can't believe that you need 37 questions to be like, oh, actually, maybe I'm passionate about this. But a couple of the things that it said was, if you were granted a superpower, what would it be? And initially I thought, why on earth would that make you think what you're passionate about? But then it goes on, what is your favourite quality about yourself? What movies have you watched over and over? Name someone who inspires you. And the other one I got was, if you could choose a mentor, alive or past, who would it be? And as much as like stands alone, those questions, you think, how would that make me find out what I'm passionate about? But I suppose if you answered those questions and they all link,
it feels like a character profile.
Then you could be like, then you could be more, maybe I am passionate about this, because this is all about all of those questions I answered. They've all surrounding like someone who works hard or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just like, I mean, personally, I feel like passion changes as you grow. Anyway, if you would ask me when I was 21 what I was passionate about, I would have said hair, doing people's hair. You know, but I was passionate about it. It was my life. But when you ask me now, like I said now, it is supporting other people, helping other people. Whilst I still did that when I was 21, I wasn't focused on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I definitely think that the answer to that question changes. Like, I could even say now, in 10 years' time, the answer will probably be different again.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. And I think sometimes with many things, that's what can actually hold people back, their fear of failure or fear of change. But actually, part of the beauty of being human is evolving and overcoming those obstacles. And usually we put those own obstacles in place for ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Yes. So yeah, I think my advice to somebody would be like, I've had to work really hard to get to where I'm at now. I mean, you know my story, Carly, and like, it's been tough at times, but there's a passion inside me to want to succeed at what I'm doing, and that's what fuels me and drives me forward. And I think that for me is the thing. Your hunger has to want to overcome those possible hurdles that could stand between you and your passion. Passion isn't always going to look easy. You know, when we think of certain events that have happened more recently in the media, they're not always easy. Nothing comes easy when you really want it sometimes. And I think that's what it's about as well. It's about digging deep in yourself, and it's about having that confidence to not want to be like everyone else, but saying, actually, this matters to me. I'm an advocate for it. I'm passionate about it. So I'm gonna go out there to do my bit. So yeah, it's cool.
I agree. And I saw this this afternoon as well. Actually, said it was a quote from Oprah.
She said, "Passion is energy. Feel the power that comes from focusing on what excites you." And I just thought that was really interesting, because
it does, like, as much as you think about, like, for me, my passion is supporting other people. And you think, how can that excite you? But actually, it's exciting to help support other people see things through to completion.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So when I read that, I was like, oh, Oprah, I do love her.
Oh yeah, she's like wisdom, isn't she, on the legs, that one?
She is. She's just like a book of wisdom.
She's just amazing.
Imagine just taking notes from her. Well, one question I was going to ask you that I actually thought about in the car on the way home from work today was, in a scenario, right? So people who have met their long-term partner, and their long-term partner, whether it's husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, you're not necessarily getting married, but that the person that you meet has a passion that they are not willing to step away from, if you know what I mean, and that they want you to come and join them in supporting them in that passion. And then you could say to someone like, oh, what's your passion? And they'd say, oh, supporting my husband's business. Do you really think that's their passion, or do you think they're just kind of being supportive?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because you hear it a lot, don't
Yeah.
you? You know, people give up their own jobs and things like that to support a partner's vision, if you like, of passion.
Yeah, and I would say that I think there is a place for supporting your partner, and I think that's how a partnership should be, for real. But no, I think for me, I personally believe deep-rooted passion is something that ignites you, and it makes you authentic, and it makes you the person you are. So I think, yeah, you could be a really loving partner and really supportive, and you can want to see, you know, your partner succeed. I think that's definitely what partnership is about. But I think everybody really is called to have their own personal passion and make their own little mark in the world, whatever that looks like. So, you know, I've been a housewife and a stay-at-home mum, and that was a season of my life which I put my all into. I was grateful for it, very blessed, because not a lot of people get to fulfill that role. But actually, that wasn't my passion. You know, I love my children so much, and I, you know, just seeing them thrive, and you know, I love being a mum. But actually, my passion is my work that I'm breaking into, and wanting to take my spoken word and my poetry on a deeper level, because that's something that fulfills a different part of Stacey, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's a good question, actually. Maybe I need to, you know, some people might beg to differ on what I've said there, but yeah, I think all of us have our own passion that doesn't involve another person, if I'm honest.
I agree. I think that I think you could find a passion together, but if you join someone who is already on that passion journey, I don't feel like you can say that that is your passion too. It absolutely be supportive and help them along the way, but I don't feel like you can say that it is your passion. But I think that because they have given up their own passion in support of the other person's, that is why they're almost telling themselves that they're passionate about that.
Exactly.
Rather than telling other people, because they're convincing themselves that that's their passion too, because that helps them to continue and to forget about what it was that they wanted to do.
And it becomes like a security blanket, and actually that could really hold that person back from fulfilling their calling in life. So
yeah, exactly. You could miss out on so much because you're so focused on somebody else's dream,
and ultimately that could lead to resentment. So, you know, it has to be a really fine balance, that journey, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think that was pretty broad chat about passion, actually.
Check us.
Check us, getting all clever. Oh gosh. But yeah, I enjoyed that, actually. I did. There's a lot. I think we could go on and on and on forever and ever, because there's so many open-ended questions, isn't there, to answer when it comes to
totally
passion. But yeah, so that was our first coffee break.
That was our first coffee break. I hope they enjoyed it, and you know, it'd be great to hear any feedback from people. Like, tell us what your passions are. Like, if we've stirred something in you, if we've like explored an avenue that you've not really thought about before with passion. Like, we really do want to hear feedback.
Yeah, we do. We want to hear like what you thought of what we said as well. Like, you can challenge us. We're quite happy for you to say, I don't think
we
so.
love being challenged. We love it.
We're up for a challenge, absolutely. So what are we going to talk about next time? We're going to have a quickie. Our next little chat is going to be a quickie, and it's going to be battling out our loves and hates in the food world. So yeah, tune in for that. That's going to be a bit of fun. Yeah, that'd be a fun one, because whilst we agree on most things, there's definitely quite a few foods that we don't agree on.
Definitely. I'd say that's the one area of life where we do actually like the different side of the battlefield.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
Definitely. So that would be interesting. I'm going to see what I can look up. I mean, I to be honest, I like to say that I eat anything, but we know that's not the case. So I'm looking forward to that.
So tune in for that, guys. Our next quickie.
Yay! Well, thank you so much for listening again today. I hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed. Absolutely, like we said, feedback is always welcome. Please like, share, subscribe, share the love, share the love. We want as many people to hear it as possible, and we are completely overwhelmed that over 100 people listened to our first quickie. Like, I can't
best
believe
quickie
it.
I've ever had. 100 people watching it. Well, listening to it. right. It's
Right, we take that back. Anyway, we better stop there before we get carried away. Thank you again, and for now we are going to say goodbye.
Bye.